Is that on?
Yeah.
Great.
They're
Welcome,
on.
everybody. It's day 39.
Hi.
And
Holy
now it's
cow.
just like normal life. 39, 562, whatever. This is life now for a while. And we're enjoying it most of the time. Yesterday we had a great time out on the Puyallup Riverwalk. Today we're back home. And yesterday we achieved 1,000 YouTube subscribers, which was supposed to enable YouTube to turn on our live streaming from the field, but it didn't on the app yet. So I've got a question in the customer support as to why not. However, that's okay because we're staying right by the house and can broadcast with my computer and Wi-Fi today. Today's thank you, Dave. And so one of the things I haven't included in the previous 38 broadcasts is a very, very important aspect of our teaching, and it's probably critical to the study of nature, wildlife tracking, learning the plants, and that's the stories, the storytelling. And so I'm going to bring a little bit of that today in order to, as a way of saying thank you to all those of you who subscribed at youtube.com/Wolfcamp College. So that one of these days when they finally turn on that aspect, we have all the bases covered. And for some reason that app isn't going yet, but we're going to start releasing the Wolf Journey Earth Conservation course study experiences day by day. Tomorrow's broadcast, Kim and I are going to attempt to do a promo video for the Wolf Journey Earth Conservation course. We're going to actually embed that into the website if it works out, or a portion thereof. So y'all might want to watch to laugh or see how well we do, or maybe we do several takes. Maybe we'll make one of those take one, take two type things, and see how that goes. And then maybe Saturday we can launch field exercise study experience 1A in the Trail of the Neighborhood Naturalist. By the way, we just got our first 2 surveys back already. I only posted them an hour ago.
Wow.
I created the SurveyMonkey survey, 4 questions, should only take a couple of minutes to finish. Although the last question is a comment. You can take as much time on that or not that you like. And those questions include what time of day is best for us to live broadcast, or if you don't catch it live, you still have time afterwards to watch and do the Wolf Journey study experience. What day of the week after we stop doing it daily, after the social distancing era ends, what day of the week is best to unveil a new study experience each day of the week. And a couple other questions like that. So please click on the description on this broadcast, and you can click through to that SurveyMonkey. We'll have it up for weeks, I'm sure, at least, or forever. Actually, the SurveyMonkey stays there. And you can continue to give feedback on how we should improve these broadcasts and the Wolf Journey Earth Conservation courses. And those books include the Trail of the Neighborhood Naturalist, Traditional Herbalist, Wildlife Tracker, Wilderness Survival Scout, the Sustainable Citizen, which will include some of our traditional technologies, such as high tanning, that kind of thing, and the Environmental Educator, which is our specialty. We kind of consider Wolf Camp and the Conservation College a outdoor teaching college. And today, I'm going to sing a song, maybe toward the end. But I'm going to unveil or kind of show you the last remaining known physical copy of the old Wolf Journey Earth Conservation course, which I call Wolf Journey Skills and Stories for the Naturalist, Book 1. And the illustrations are by Nikki Van Schindel, who you all might know from watching the Alone Survival series last summer. We just assumed she'd win. But we can't tell you, I guess, if you haven't watched the series and you want to, because she was the only person. She and another one of our apprentices back in the day, Micah Fay, went out and lived real primitive survival for 2 years. And anyways, so
Can we get the book?
It's right here.
Oh no, I mean.
No, it's okay. Anyway, yeah, she did write a book called Becoming Wild. It's excellent. It turned out really well if you want to read that as well as watch her in Alone. Anyway, so uh, the online version of the Wolf Journey Earth Conservation course, we are going to, again, start with book 1 here, the Trail to the Neighborhood Naturalist, and we're going to, most of the field exercises will be about the same. However, they're going to be highly edited and expanded, actually. And also, we're going to include a video, live video, just like we're doing now, or been doing the last 39 days, out in the field doing that actual study experience so you can use it as a homeschool classroom. Everybody that's studying from home can watch it and then go out in the field and do that exercise. Those are working can do it after. Oh, heron just flew over, so beautiful. Can do it after work or maybe once a week on Saturdays or on Sundays. I back when I was going to my study site every day. It started out every day, and then it would be when I got really busy once a week. It was just an absolute magical experience, and it is the best way to learn. It's the most scientific way to learn, and we're going to talk about how Kim did something similar when she was a kid by having a square foot that she studied. Her 5th, 6th grade teacher had her study, the students studied, and it really is what kind of maybe inspired you to get your degree in wildlife science, right? One of the things, anyway. Always loved the birds and everything else, but yeah, okay. So the stories in here are, I wrote it when I was in my mid-20s, and so the stories are epic. They are stories of harrowing tales of what I did. Now, I'm not going to include those. I don't think they're as appropriate stories for learning these skills as the stories that I now have. And I will, after I wrote the book and I moved back into Bellingham, I will tell you one story about finding my study site. It is an epic story. It's not going to happen to everybody. Most people are just going to go out into their backyard or out under their porch of their apartment or whatever and do their field experiences there. But the best thing, as I'll explain tomorrow during our promo, or especially the day after when we do the very first field exercise, which is finding your study site, is find the most productive spot. It might be just a square foot of the lawn that's right on the corner of next to a tree. That most productive place is the edge of a field forest and maybe have a water body there, and that's right where all the animals cross, all the plant communities interact, and so there's a big diversity of things there. Well, I moved into town for the first time. I was living on Lummi Island, and I moved back into Bellingham, and I needed to find. I was not going to study nature in town. Oh no, I was too much of a wilderness guy for that. So I was going to get up really early the next morning, drive way out into the wilderness, and I was sure I was going to go out there and study at least a couple times a week. But so I set my alarm for 4:30 a.m. I believe it was, and so I went to sleep, and of course I was young, so I had to have all sorts of bright lights and loud. I plugged it into my old stereo, so it would blast, lights and music would come on, and so I set that, and I remember dreaming of this lonesome, just. Lily's looking at me really funny. Oh, come on over here. I know, good girl. Anyway, so that was going on, and I was just tossing and turning. And the song that came on to blast me awake was the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want. And just blasting. I was like, scared me to death waking up. The lights I had, one of those timers that turned on the lights and everything. And so I reached over and bashed it and turned it all off. And as soon as the music went off, I hear this. I know, Lily, are you going to howl at me? And I sat straight up in my bed, absolutely awake. I thought, oh my gosh. And it was like, I know, there's something that's trapped out in the yard. I couldn't believe it. So I quickly threw on some shoes, ran downstairs, went out the front door, and I hear it again. I listen. I'm like, where's it coming from? And it's coming from the other side of the house, over by where somebody had installed kind of a little pond, very little water drainage thing. And I went over there, and I thought, oh, you know what it sounds like? It's like a loon. My very first animal that I ever really studied my first summer out of high school before I went to the University of Wisconsin, and been living in our family cabin, and loons were just amazing. And I thought, oh wow, I was in a delirium. It must be a loon that's stuck in this little pond and it can't get out, because loons are the most primitive bird and they need a big, like, couple hundred yards to be able to flap and get up in the air. And I look and there's nothing in the pond, and I hear it from further down, about a block away. Lily's ignoring me now. And so I run down the block and I turn left and I keep hearing it. There's another block down. And I get down to where the interurban trail started at that time in Bellingham, or still starts. I don't know if they extended it further or called it further. Anyway, just off of Fairhaven Parkway, Old Fairhaven Parkway. Crossed over Old Fairhaven Parkway, started running down the interurban trail, following the. By the way, it's dark. It's 4:45 a.m. I think, and I turn cross the whatever that street is, 24th or something, and it's in this patch of woods that's on the other side of the street. And I get in there, and I just start getting like bit. I was like, oh my gosh, because I wanted to go save this. By then, I was like certain it was a coyote. Absolutely certain that was a coyote. I felt like I was getting bit, just freaking out, panicking, not breathing. Of course, if you ever listen to any of our survival lectures, it's always breathe to not panic. And so I finally did take a deep breath, and I realized that I had run into a patch of hawthorn trees, which was poking me. And so I turn around and I try to get my bearings, and I see coming down the street this bike light. Somebody must have been biking to work, as everybody does in Bellingham. And I was like, hey, guy, help me out with this. Coyote must be stuck in a trap or something, guy. Come on over here and help me. And this bike in the dark, like, circles around in the street and just goes, gets the heck out of there. He must have thought I was absolutely just, crazy. So this day and age, I'm sure the cops would have been called. Thanks, Kim just bumped it.
Sorry.
One of the cameras. And okay, so I finally got my bearings, and I realized I didn't bring a flashlight, brought nothing with me. I had to wait for a little bit of light to penetrate. It was penetrating the street, but not in the woods yet. So I sat and listened. I kept hearing this. Oh, this poor coyote must be stuck in a trap, suffering. Who is this horrible person leaving the trap out? And it finally got to the point where my eyes were adjusting. There was just a little bit of daybreak maybe coming over the horizon. And so just enough for me to fox walk into the forest, turning on my wide-angle vision. I kept going and kept hearing that. It could hear me probably, so I couldn't hear the howling anymore, but I did hear scuffling. I got up to a spot where I thought it wasn't there, and I heard more scuffling further. I was like, oh my gosh, it's probably dragging the trap away. And I keep going further, and I get to the place where, there's this beautiful set of sword ferns under these cedar trees, and I kind of see it's up there in one of the ferns, kind of rustling. So I walk up there, and nothing. I look around for a good half hour. I could find nothing. I was just starting to beat myself up so bad. There were a few holes here and there, probably nothing, maybe big enough for a fox, I thought, but not coyote, maybe something smaller. I was like, and I couldn't find one track. I just kept beating myself up about why aren't I a better tracker? I couldn't help this poor animal. I didn't know for sure what it was. I was just like, and so just sat there, just disgusted, walked out of there eventually, bright daylight, went home. I was like, why didn't I bring my 10 essentials? Why didn't I bring my flashlight? Why didn't I bring anything to help? Nothing. I think I may have even had a cell phone by that time, one of the early cell phones. I didn't bring that. And so for about 3 days, I walked around beating myself up until I told my friend Naira, who was one of our original tracking club members, the story. And she just sat there as Kim met Naira last year, came up to visit from Chile. And she just sat there, looked at me all wise as she does. And after I told the story and telling how I beat myself up, and all she said, she looked at me, she said, "What was your intention that morning again?" So Robin gives this little warning, annoyance call. Yeah, warning. Something's bothering it. Nothing that's going to kill it, but something that is really annoying it. What do you think, Grandma? You want to go check it out? It's kind of up high, so I don't know what's going on. Anyways, yeah, and I thought, oh, I was planning to find my study sites. She said, That's all she said. And I said, oh. And sure enough, that became the most productive, amazing study site ever. Just all the animals are just funneled into these little greenway corridors in town. I was annoyed by the freeway noise, everything else, but it was so amazing. Just the animals just funneled right in there, and the plant life was incredible. I absolutely loved it. And so that's not going to be my introductory story for the first field exercise of finding your study site in a couple of days, because we're going to do more of similar to how Kim has her study site, where all you need is a square foot. But I mean, if you do live on an acre or something, awesome. Or you have a park nearby where you can do your study field experiences, that would be wonderful too. Hey, Kimmer, how much time do you have? Do you know what time it is?
It's about 6:18.
Oh, okay, good.
6:20.
Wonderful. So that's kind of an introduction to the wolf journey and finding a study site and how wonderful of an experience it is. As I mentioned and alluded to before, it's a real scientific method, because once you have a study site that you get to know inside and out all the patterns, all the seasons of the year, maybe even 2 years, and then you go travel anywhere in the world. This is the concept, by the way, that was kind of explained to me by John Young at the Wilderness Awareness School. You go anywhere in the world and you see the exact same patterns happening, and you understand what's going on because you saw the patterns of nature in your study site. The characters, the specific species are different, but all the similar niches are being filled by similar. I don't know, the robin is singing. Wonderful. Yeah, and John Young is an incredible, bee bird language person. Robin's marking its territory there, as we mentioned yesterday's broadcast. And so, and the history of the study site, there are many. Ishi had a study site, the last Yahi from California. Many origins and traditions always have a secret place or peaceful place to go to understand and learn nature. Kids should always have one. But John Young learned it from Tom Brown, his original teacher, who called it a sit spot. And so this concept comes from him. And John Young wrote a beautiful, incredible curriculum that's sold by the Wilderness Awareness School called the Kamana. And so the Wolf Journey Book 1 is very similar to that. And so I'm going to be adding a link to the Kamana, as well as probably the Wilderness Awareness School needs a lot of support right now, because I imagine all the programs will probably shut down as well during the social distancing era. And then we'll move on to the Wildlife Tracker, Traditional Herbalist. So many different people have known that. So, the only song I can think of, there, one of the first survey that was returned that gave a comment at the end. So again, click on that Survey Monkey to help us get the feedback of how you want us to proceed with these broadcasts and the Wolf Journey or Conservation course. Mentioned that they really like it when you go in super detail about the bugs and all the I know kids' favorite.
Yes. I have so many cool bugs to talk about. It's gonna be awesome.
And also tips on gardening. And so, in honor of that,
I've made.
the only wonderful, camp song that I almost always sing every week at camp because it's requested is the garden song.
Oh yeah.
Inch by Inch by Dave Mallet. And then there's also the new garden song by Eric Kilburn. I might get into that. Kim doesn't like it as much, but it's funny.
Have I heard it?
And besides, our cousin Susie Erkenbeck watched a lot of these, and she loves this kind of game.
Oh, I don't think I know the other one.
So, okay.
I'm just a traditionalist.
So again, before I sing the song, I just want to thank everybody who got us up to over 1,000 subscribers at the youtube.com/WolfCampCollege.
Yes.
All those who watch us on Facebook.
Thank you so much.
If there's any comments, who's that? That's their comment.
Oh,
Nothing needed.
hey, Henry's watching.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Henry.
This song is because we're going to be in and around our gardens, but we're not going to be necessarily doing too much gardening on broadcasts in the next little while because we're focusing on Wolf Journey Trail and Neighborhood Naturalist. So I'm going to have to sing the one song I've been thinking, this time I'll sing the garden song, but I haven't. And it goes like this. Oh, whoa! First it goes like, tune your guitar. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna help this garden. All you need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone please bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. It's a little different chords than I'm used to. I should probably be watching or just thinking about it myself. Okay. Pulling weeds, picking stones. We are made of dreams and bones. Need a place to call my own, for the time is near at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain. Find my way through nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of this land. I'm going to try to do the chords they have.
Okay.
Not try to remember. Sing it if you know it. Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna help this garden grow. All you need is a rake and a hoe and a patch of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant yours rows straight and long, chamfer with the prayer and song. Mother will make you song strong if you. What's the next chord? You.
I don't know. I was distracted by the song sparrow.
Give her love and care. Maybe it's just A.
Yeah.
Old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feather thief up there. Friend up there, sorry.
What'd you call him? Thief?
No, but that's what it says here.
Oh, I'm going to cross that out.
I know. Kim's favorite.
Definitely friend.
Corvids in college. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All you need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Jimmy God, I'm going to do the anti-garden song. Here it goes. Slug by slug, weed by weed, my garden's got me really teed. All the insects love to feed upon my tomato plants. Sunburned face, scratched up knees, my kitchen's choked with zucchini. I'm shopping at the A&P next time I get a chance. Not right now. Inch by inch. Oh no. I guess that's the next one. The crabgrass grows, the ragweed thrives. My broccoli has long since died. The only things left alive are some radishes and me. My carrot plants are dead and gone. Hear the rabbits sing a happy song. Till you weed it all day long, you don't know what boredom means. Slug by slug, weed by weed, my garden's got me really sweet. All the insects love to feed upon my tomato plants. Sunburned face, scratched up knees, my kitchen's choked with zucchini. Shopping at the A&P next time I can get a chance. Last first, you get up early, work till late, you watch moles and mice get overweight. Eat their dinners on a plate from the hardware you have done. As ye sow, so shall ye reap, but I smell like a compost. I'm gonna get that lousy paper. Said gardening was fun. Oh yeah, inch by inch, row by row, gonna help this garden grow. All you need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rain comes tumbling down. 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 That was kind of wolf campy.
That was really wolf
Well,
campy. I
Not so
love
much
that.
wolf campy. It was kind of campy.
Those are great. I don't think you ever sing those at camp, do you?
The
Those last
anti-garden
verses?
stuff?
Yeah.
Oh no, because it's kind of negative.
It was so funny and kind of true. Right?
Well, anyways, everybody's out there having a garden this year, growing in pots along their doorstep. Keep on doing it. Actually,
Hey, Abby.
just garden in pots because it's so much easier. All
Well,
right,
we're not
everybody.
going to, but
Thanks again for everything, all your support, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow with our attempted live Wolf Journey Earth Conservation Course promo video. All right, appreciate it. Be well. Take care.
Bye.